Well, it's interesting, the chemicals go all throughout the brain, which is interesting, and particularly to the amygdala and some of the more parts of our brain that have to do with emotions and different things like that. So it basically floods in through your lungs rapidly convert it over to an active form, and it goes right into your bloodstream, right to your brain, so it kicks in really quickly. It's interesting that as it seems to take away restrictions. Is one of the things that's interesting. Our body has a lot of natural filters that go on, and marijuana tends to take those down, so we actually perceive much more, which often leads to the idea of people being kind of stupefied or not too smart or not paying attention. It's really so much more information is coming into the brain and being processed much faster that it's a little bit harder to kind of keep the flow of all the regular things we have going for us. So the high part is kind of the brain being much more open and creative and insightful. So that's quite interesting. So it's not toxic in that regard. So physiologically, marijuana is stimulating especially when you first smoke it. Now smoking the effects come on much more strongly and much more rapid and a much bigger spike of the concentrations. So that's why some people kind of get it's not exactly an overdose, but too high of a dose where they do get a fluttering heart rate. That's one of the things that can happen. It doesn't cause heart palpitations where you're going to go into dysrhythmia and die or anything like that, but it can speed up your heart rate. And that can be uncomfortable for people. It's a very temporary thing, and it's more associated with smoking it too. So you can just discharge some energy by moving around a little bit, and that'll usually settle that down. And the paranoia, some people will get too high of a dose and their thoughts, basically, if somebody fixates on a thought, the marijuana will bring your attention right to that really fully, so you can really get fixated on one thought and kind of exclude everything else of that focus that it can give you and go into a paranoid state where you're just perseverating on the thought too much. And generally the antidote to that is just do some busy work. I like to do is start folding some laundry, sweeping the floors, doing something that involves your hands, and that'll pass pretty quickly.